everybody. I hope you guys are all doing awesome. I wanted to start this particular video off with another very popular question that I get. So, am I a natural light photographer or an off-camera flash photographer? How did I decide to be either of those? And kind of what was my journey? So first and foremost, just like most photographers, I did start as a natural light photographer. I know that there's this huge battle between photographers with being a natural light or using off-camera flash. I'm not here to start any battles with anybody. I am here to tell you my journey and why I chose to be an off-camera flash photographer. So what I found as a natural light photographer was that it was very difficult to get good exposure for the sky while properly exposing my subjects. So after doing a little bit of research, now of course I was pretty new in the photography industry at this point in time, so I didn't quite understand that to properly expose the sky, you're just either going to have a completely underexposed subject or an overexposed subject, depending on the sky that you're working with. So as I learned and as I grew my craft, I decided to just get a couple of Canon speed lights to use some off-camera flash so that I could get those big, beautiful, bold skies that I really craved in my imagery. I know many people like the light and airy feel. I did not, so I was looking for something different. So when I started to use those little speed lights, I was hooked immediately. Now, as most businesses, when you're first starting out, you don't have a ton of funds to sink into your business. So I did the most cost-effective way that I could go. And once I got those speed lights, I literally was counting the days until I could upgrade my lighting system. So if you're wondering what lighting system I use now, I use ProPhoto. They are amazing, and their color quality per every shot that's taken with your lights is going to be very consistent all across the board. So again, I know people kind of get caught up in brand names sometimes, and there's always a little bit of war between different photographers and what gear they use. I want to tell you that my gear that I use, I did work up for and work up to. But we definitely started out with a more cost-effective way to get that off-camera flash. There's nothing wrong with that. My general rule of thumb is become the best at what you have and then imagine what you can do when you have the funds to invest in the better stuff. So first thing that I noticed with my off-camera flash, now mind you, I wasn't modifying it in any way, and I really only started out using one. And then I brought a second one in. The more that I practiced and the more that I learned, like I said, I was absolutely hooked. So getting that very, very rich color in the skies, and you may be familiar with my work. I'm very much so landscape and architecture based. I like to have all of those leading lines and the architecture in my shots. So having that big, beautiful sky is a big part of that for me. So when I started using that off-camera flash, I was able to get that super, super rich sky. Now, when it comes to, running your photography business, and if one is better than the other, really it just comes down to your style. So I have a lot of photographers who tell me, Karen, I'm just a natural light photographer. I love it. This is where I want to stay. And that is perfectly okay. But if you've never tried off-camera flash before, how do you know for sure if you're a natural light photographer? So you have to be able to kind of experiment with all forms of light. That's what we as photographers do. That's what we're known for, playing with the light. So if you want to be a natural light photographer, I think that's great. But I absolutely think that you should play around with some off-camera flash just to make sure you have found your niche, you have found your style, and that way you can move forward in your craft and in your business.